Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic, and this is another episode of Road to Dune. So we got a bit of Dune news, and there's two articles I'm going to talk about. And depending on how you look at it, this could be good or bad news. The first article is from Film Blogging the Real World. Warner Brothers pushes Dune to December 2020, sets Baz Luhrmann's Elvis Presley movie for fall 2021. Over the weekend, Warner Brothers Pictures made some adjustments to their release calendar for the next couple of years. First up, the studio decided to move Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel Dune out of the busy weekend before Thanksgiving. Deadline has word on Warner Brothers Pictures pushing back Legendary Pictures' new Dune movie release date from the previously set November 2020 release date to December 18, 2020. That will put it up against Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story, making for some decent counter-programming. Also slated for that weekend is Eddie Murphy's sequel to Coming to America and Sony's adaptation of the Uncharted video game franchise, although we're not confident the latter project will meet that date. So it seems like they've moved it around. I would guess they moved it maybe because competition's not going to be so stiff on this release date. And so the next article I'm going to go into, it kind of talks about that a little bit, gives some of the reasons. So this article is from Forbes, and it's by Scott Mendelson. So this is actually a really long article. So what I did is I just picked out a few highlights, and that kind of gets to the point faster. Because in the article, he rambles on about he does a lot of number crunching in the article. In last week's news today, Warner Brothers moved Denis Villeneuve's Dune from November 2020 to December 18th, 2020. The initial plan was to launch the first of what may or may not be a two-part adaptation of Frank Herbert's classic sci-fi novel on what is generally the high fantasy weekend of the holiday season, but instead it's opening not on the weekend before Thanksgiving, but the weekend before Christmas. It's arguably avoiding a showdown with Marvel's Eternals and attempting to assert itself as the Star Wars / Lord of the Rings of the 2020 holiday season. The pre-Thanksgiving launchpad that has proven successful for 4 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, 4 of the 5 Twilight movies, and the 3 Hunger Games sequels. It was also a fine launching pad for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in 2016. It was less so for Justice League in 2017 and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald in 2018. The other scenario is that Warner Brothers is positioning Dune as next year's Star Wars / Lord of the Rings. If the pre-Thanksgiving weekend is where Warner Brothers, Summit, and Lionsgate have opened their YA fantasy franchise flicks, then the pre-Christmas weekend has long been home to the year-end fantasy dynamo. This has been a thing at least since 1995, when Sony's Jumanji legged out to 100 million from an 11 million debut weekend. That Christmas to New Year's period, 2 weeks when kids are out of school and adults are off from work, is a goldmine for movies big and small in terms of long legs and ridiculous multipliers. So basically, it seems like they don't want to go up against this MCU movie. And I think that's probably a smart move because I know MCU is taking a lot of criticism right now, but there is one thing you can't argue on, and that is the MCU is still a gold mine for Disney, and it's still a box office juggernaut. Anything with Marvel MCU slapped on it will make bank. And so the MCU is a tried and true, tested and proven moneymaker. Dune isn't. And, people aren't going to know what it is, and, it's just going to lose out if it goes up against a Marvel movie. That's just the facts. So I think it's a smart move to move it to December, where there's a lot less competition, or there's less movies that would be competing in the same genre, like sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that. And that is true in the article. Like, a lot of people have time off around that period. So, there's going to be more people at home, and so it's going to be more of a chance for people to go out and see something. Because I know Aquaman did really good, and same thing, Aquaman came out around that time period, and I think a big reason it did really well was because there was nothing else really for it to compete against in the theaters. It had the theater basically all to itself. Whereas Shazam was sandwiched right between Captain Marvel and Endgame, and I think that hurt it because it didn't have a lot of time to breathe. It was sandwiched right between those two movies, and I think that really hurt Shazam. So, in my opinion, this is good news if they moved it for the betterment of the movie. If it means that the movie's going to do a lot better by moving it to a less crowded slot for next year, then I'm all on board. Anything, this movie's going to need everything all the help it gets, in my opinion, because it's got that it's kind of got that bad history of the last Dune film, and a lot of people, general movie-going audience, they might not be able to separate the two, and might not think that this is just a reboot of that old film and not like a readaptation of the classic novel, where all Dune fans are going to know the difference. And no matter where they put this, like me, I'm sold. I'm going to go see it. Like if it comes to a Marvel movie, now I'm a big MCU fan. I've collected comics for years and seen all the MCU movies and stuff. And I always go see the MCU movies in the theater. But in this particular case, if opening weekend, this Dune movie is opening up and an MCU movie is opening up, I'm going to go see Dune first. But I can't, not everyone's going to do that. So I think this is actually for the better of the film. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.